You are not live. Uh, all right. Well. We're back at it. We're back at it. No one's in the stream yet. That's fine. That's fine and dandy. You know what I'm saying? It's fine and dandy. BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. It ain't no history. Got the best BBL in. What do you say? It ain't no mystery. You got the best BBL in history. Oh my god, it is hilarious. It's yo, that track is funny as hell. All right. I need some music. Uh-oh, I'm dropping stuff. What was that? Oh, shit. Do. The black wolf with red eyes. It's fascinating. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Good morning. Good morning. Boss Queen. Good morning. Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? Minnesota Pop Art. I like how's it going this morning. We're working on the skin tone right now, just trying to block in the skin tone. So almost got this hand about done. Then we'll move to this face. Oh, my man's is in the building. Hey, bro. Hey, I already tell you. You already know what time it is, bro. You already know what time it is. You trying to jump in the stream? Oh yeah. It's the early morning energy, bro. I I normally do my stuff in the evenings after work because I work Monday through Friday. But Saturday and Sunday, this I would prefer to start my day off like this. I like getting it done in the morning. Ah, on a big Saturday, bro. Dang. So you gonna give them a few hours, huh? Give them a little few hours, not the whole day, but yeah. So I think if I can block in the skin today, I think that'd be a pretty good point. Yeah, that's my goal. It should only it should only be a few hours to block in this skin tone. You know, little light work on the Saturday morning. You know, I got some errands to run. Uh, gotta do laundry and stuff, and then I gotta get ready to go to New York this evening. So I definitely just wanted this to be the first thing today. Go ahead and knock out a good chunk of this, or as much of, like I say, of the skin tone as possible, and then we'll rock from there. I think I'm doing too much right there. See, all my other YouTubers, bro, they old. These motherfuckers don't got Instagram and shit. They don't be on the ground like I do. And then a lot of like younger Instagrammers and TikTokers, they don't really be on YouTube like that. Yeah, I swear, bro. The stream time is the worst thing because I don't know. I think I'm being punished for some reason. They've cut out my Instagram streams a lot lately for copyrights, and I could swear like when I first started streaming on Instagram, I think the streams were like 3 hour limits before they cut you, and now I do an hour and it cuts off. And honestly, an hour in the studio for me flies by so fast sometimes. Like I'll be here painting, like either I'll it'll be like now where I'm talking, and then I look at the camera and it's gone. I'm like, damn. Or I just fucking zone out for a minute, and then turn around and the stream is gone. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that was fast. I was in for like 40 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that to an extent, but I would definitely like only apply that to channels that are monetized. Like, bro, if the algorithm can clearly see my channel isn't monetized, even if I am playing copywritten music, I'm not gaining anything from it. I'm not making any personal gain or profit from that shit. My channel's not monetized. And I'm not selling any products from my channel or telling people to or trying to reroute traffic to another pay site or anything like that. Oh well. Like I said, I get it to a certain extent. It's not my content. Okay, okay. Did you create that? No. Okay. I used to document my work too. It's like if you don't play the game how they dictate, you get punished. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now it's not even like it's not even fair, bro, because the AIs just pick up on stuff so easy now. It's just, I can't say nothing. I can't do nothing. I can't play nothing. Like, really, dudes. Um, I play a lot of the Call of Duty game. Yo, they got the AI bot watching Call of Duty now for like harsh language or whatever they want to call it. Yo, you say anything wrong in Call of Duty, bro. They cutting your mic off. Hey, they just straight cut your mic off now for 14 days. You can't talk to any other where you can talk to other players, but the other players have to unmute you. Like they automatically mute your mic for 14 days. And every game you go in, you can't say shit to anybody and unless they decide to unmute you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What is the world coming to, bro? He said, "Yeah, put me in the trash bin." Yeah, that's why I'm surprised that I still even get new viewers and followers like yourself because I'm so fucking uh like shadow banned on this shit, bro. That's why I like to give my disclaimer every once in a while, man. I'm not a professional. This stream is for entertainment purposes only. YouTube and Instagram. This stream is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional and I am not giving out any type of professional advice, whether it be political, scientific, religious, or otherwise. I do not have any degrees or any certifications in any specific field. So if you feel that anything I say may be true, I advise you to do your own research and figure things out for yourself because I do this just for fun. This is for entertainment purposes only, and I do not want people to take me serious. And even if you say stuff like that, they still shadow ban you. It's like, well, you're still spilling too much tea, so yeah, nah. Even the title of my channel is two things that people really don't like very much: art and education. Oh man, you just a big nerd, bro. Well, maybe. I might be a big nerd, but tis what it is. So my coworker, who is my homie, says she might ride with me to New York. Word. Good, I got a little travel partner. Got a travel partner. Yep, that's normally how it is. I've been hovering at whatever, like, uh, like the 5,000. I mean, like the 4,000 something followers on Instagram forever. Like my YouTube channel does the same thing. If I get two new subscribers, then like two or three people unsubscribe to the channel. I get one or two new followers on Instagram, and then two or three people unfollow. And it's like, oh well, I guess I gotta stop posting some of the content that I do because like my page is curated for art, but my stories. Yo, I deal with the fuckery in my stories, bro. On Instagram. I'll let motherfuckers have the fuckery. All the conspiracy theories and all that shit, I throw that shit right in my damn Instagram story. But now I see I'm gonna have to stop doing that shit too. And just make my Instagram strictly, purely 100% art. It would just have to be art and nothing else but art. Even in my stories and my timeline stories, all have to be about art now. So, nah, because I do too much stuff, man. I talk too much different shit, and then sometimes I do the live streams painting, sometimes I do live streams just talking, sometimes I do live streams playing video games. So, yeah, I don't really know where to put me at. Yeah, New York is okay to visit, and that's it. Um, New Yorkers love that shit. You know, that's their environment. That's how they were, raised and brought up, especially down in the boroughs. Because a bunch of the rest of New York State is just like rural farmland, is what people don't realize. People think all of New York is like New York City, and it's not. New York City is the only place in New York that's even remotely like that. Like I say, everything else is just trees and farms and shit. That's the same way about PA. Like everybody thinks PA is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and it's like no, that's it. It's only Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and everything else is fucking farms and cows and shit. The whole state of Pennsylvania is not like Philly. And like New York is a nice state, except when you get down to the boroughs. That shit is a whole different country, bro. Them boroughs is like a world to itself. Where you from? From the Bronx, bitch. Like, whoa, nigga, calm down. I just asked where you from. Brooklyn, son, Staten Island. Like, yeah, all of them, all of them. It's crazy. It's craziness, man. And I could not. I don't know. I could not live in that shit. Like, my buddy who's going with me, she's lived in New York, which is the coolest part. And like, she's one of the sweetest people you would ever meet, yo. Swear to God, one of the nicest, warmest, kindest, gentlest person. But she's a New Yorker, or she's at least lived in New York. So all that niceness can get tossed to the wind at any given moment with people like that. That's what motherfuckers don't realize, yo. Like them people, they built different, bro. Especially out when you catch them outside of their environment. I say they be nice and everything, but do some shit that get these motherfuckers riled up, bro. The real New Yorker come out, it's a wrap, son. It's a wrap. Mm. It's starting to get hungry now. Definitely gonna have to go for some breakfast. But what do I want for breakfast is the question. I'm not really sure. Not really sure on what to eat. They said Drake got a BBL. I'll be down. Oh damn. I don't know why. Yo, I'm still listening to these diss tracks from Kendrick Lamar. I ain't even gonna lie, yo. That shit just keep playing in my head, especially the Metro Boomin BBL Drizzy beat. I ain't saying I was ahead of the curve or nothing like that, but I always thought Drake been kind of corny and whack, yo. Once again, that's why I ain't never listened to none of this nigga music ever. It's just like, I gotta felt like DMX. you know. But I really couldn't feel like X because I don't know, because I guess because I only heard like whatever like when he very first came out, and I'm like, who this nigga? Like, no, I'm good on this type on this style of music. I'm good. And then they was like, oh, you Lil Wayne artist. I'm like, all right. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long he'll last. You know. And no lie, yo, I swear, I called Drake as a one hit wonder. I got that one wrong. Hella wrong. I said, man, this dude gonna be like a one hit wonder, man. That motherfucker gonna do shit with this corny ass music. But then you know what? People like corny music, so hey, check him out. Damn near 15 years later, still in the game. But early on, I told my homie like, I'm not listening to no Drake, bro. And he was like, what? I'm like, bro, I can't listen to the Drake, dude. That nigga just, I can't listen to it. And now years later, all right, I'm gonna try to do a time lapse again since I haven't done one of these in a minute. Damn, you know what? Really need. I would really want to do the time lapse here. All right, let me see if I can. I might have to switch the camera settings, or well, the camera placements around a little bit. For this one, I would probably have to put you guys here. Or can this even go here? Let's see. Alright, I have to put you guys here. And then I'll take the time lapse on the phone. Let's see, I can't do production, cameras, light, sound, script writing, acting, painting. I can't do all. I can't do everything. I'll still be having these back spasms. This is what I'm talking about, sitting in the car for 2 hours. Because I can barely sit right here, man. All right. Oh, man. I need to, I'm going to have to eat some breakfast soon, too. So let me try to, what time is it? It's 9? Damn. All right, what if I try to do a time lapse for about an hour and then get some breakfast at 10? And then get breakfast at 10, eat breakfast, and then try to paint until about noontime. And then at, well, maybe even 11:30. I don't know. Because I do got some other shit I need to get done today. So I said I might leave this evening and be going for a couple hours. phone. I want the phone camera on this side. The time lapse. Okay, that's about the best position there. Oh, damn. Alright. Now you guys can go this way. Hold on. Damn. Alright, something like that. Is everybody good now? I think all the camera setups. I got the iPad. Everything should be kosher. Alright, we'll take it from there. Where was I at? Where was I at? Oh, we got that, we got that, we got that. So what I did just now, it was a kind of a troll move, but not really. I I just sent my man's the paintings I did. It looked like his shit. Oh, gotta do that. Alright, my bad. So I felt like I needed to send a message just now, a text message too, so I don't seem like too much of a troll. I just thought about that. I was like, I just sent him photos, like with no text or context or anything. He's like, that's not cool. All right. I could actually put something on YouTube now since I'm not on Instagram anymore. I'm using the phone camera to do time lapse. Because unlike you, most people don't want to sit and watch fucking 3 and 4 hours of artwork. They want to see the whole thing happen in 20 seconds.
This one is that they're claiming they respect the choices of creators and content owners on AI, and they're going to be building a media manager so that content owners can manage how their works are used in AI. If you wrote an article or...
Is it buffering? What's going on here?
You jump into the GPT. It's easy to start by using their pre-written prompt for you. I want to create a landing page. And then it's just going to ask you a few questions to make sure it gets all the details right. I'll give it a quick 2 or 3 sentence paragraph about what the site I'm trying to build is supposed to do. In this case, grow the Future Tools email newsletter. And then it wants to know what makes the newsletter stand out. So I'll simply share a few bullet points here. It'll ask me a couple more questions about what I want my call to action to be. In this case, I'm going to use be subscribe, so I'm just going to say be. Then it asks what sort of tone I want it in. For this one, I want it to be informative, so I'm going to go with I. It then immediately wrote some copy for me. I think the sales copy to get people on my newsletter looks great, so I'm going to go ahead and say, looks good, let's create it. I'm going to confirm that I trust this HubSpot GPT here, and a couple seconds later, I have a link to my landing page, which I can click on, and it will open the page in a new tab, and we can see we have a landing page that's nice and designed for us with really decent copy. We can easily swap out these images with the most relevant images and tweak any of the copy that we want, and within roughly 2 minutes, we have a landing page ready to start growing our mailing list. This custom GPT from HubSpot makes it super, super simple. And again, if you have a ChatGPT Plus account, it's totally free to use. I've gone ahead and put the link in the description so you can access it easily, or you can try the QR code that's on the screen right here. So check it out. It's pretty impressive with how quick and easy it is to set up, and thank you so much to HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Also this week, Gradient AI announced that they managed to get a 4 million token context length out of Llama 3 8B. That is the largest context window of any openly available large language model. And a 4 million token context window is essentially 3 million words of input and output back from the large language model. To put that into some more context, the entire Harry Potter book series is a little over 1 million words. So theoretically, you could feed in 3 times the size of the entire Harry Potter series and actually get responses based on that context window. If I had to guess, I would guess that the whole concept of a context window is gonna sort of disappear over the coming years. the context windows of these large language models are going to get so large that context window isn't even really something people think about that much. And what's even cooler about this Gradient AI 4 million context length is that they developed it with the Llama 3 8B model, which is open source, and then shared what they created over here on Hugging Face. So if you actually know what you're doing, which in this case, I really don't, you can come to Hugging Face, go to Files and Versions, and actually download the files to be able to run this yourself and get that 4 million token context window. We also got some news this week out of XAI and their Grok chatbot. If you have a premium account and you're using either the desktop version or the iOS version, you can go to the Explore section, click on any article like this iPad article here, and this little description of the article was actually generated by Grok. And we get that with all of the news over here in the Explore tab. Any one that I click into here will give me a nice, quick AI-generated summary of what's going on based on all the tweets, like this one, about my favorite baseball player of all time. All right, moving into AI art. This week, Krea AI actually launched video inside of your platform. With their little example, they showed two images, they blended them together and generated a video based on the blend of the two images. And it looks pretty sweet. And ever since this was released, I've been seeing some really cool videos getting posted onto X here, like this one from Steve Mills that has this crazy person on a bed zooming in with a demon, and then they turn into a house, and then they're on a bed. It's just these crazy, crazy looking animations. I mean, they're not realistic like what you'd get out of something like Sora, but they've got this really cool sort of frame interpolation. I don't know, it's just got a really cool feel to it. Seems like it'd be really good for like music videos and things like that. Here's another 10-second clip that Justine Moore shared of a bunch of cities sort of morphing between each other and some cool clouds in the sky. Really, really cool videos. Now, Krea isn't publicly available to everybody yet. They're starting to hand out some access codes to some people to test it out. I managed to get an access code to get in. I'm not 100% sure when they're going to be opening it up to more people, but let's go ahead and take a peek real quick. Wow, inside the app is actually really impressive. You can see we've got a timeline down here. I can actually move my mouse along the timeline and see every single frame. We can see some key frames here where it sort of interpolates between the two images that it started with. And I can add additional keyframes all along the timeline here. If I click into settings, we've got aspect ratio, we've got motion intensity, and then we've got the option to loop the video. And then down here, we've got a few options like film, render, animation, and experimental. I'm going to go ahead and clear everything that's here. So we're starting from scratch. And let's go ahead and toss a couple random images in here. I'll toss this little like fantasy world image that I created in Midjourney in here. And then let's add another keyframe down here. Here's another sort of similar fantasy image. And then let's go ahead and add our text prompt. All right, so I've added two images and a couple text prompts to go with it. Let's go ahead and stretch this out to right here. Stretch this out to right here. Let's go ahead and generate a video and see what we get out of it. And here's the video it made. That's really, really cool. It's just a really cool thing to be able to take one image, it's like your starting image, and then where you want the image to end up, and then make a video that kind of goes between the images. This one seems to do it pretty smoothly. Now what Krea is doing here is actually using open source technology called Animate Diff under the hood, which means there are free alternatives that you can use, albeit a little bit more complicated, but you can achieve the same effect locally. I'll actually link up a YouTube tutorial from Purrs in the description below, so if you do want to take a stab at trying to do the same effect locally, there's a pretty in-depth tutorial that you can follow along to. And while we're on the topic of AI video, we actually got some more details about Sora this week. Sean Ralston here, who works with OpenAI on dev support, shared this video showing that you can change just the character in the video without it changing the rest of the scene. And if you watch this video, you've got the top left with a man walking down the street, top right, same exact alley street, but with a woman, down here an older man, and over on the bottom right, a robot, but everything else pretty much remains the same. Some of the graffiti in the background looks a little bit different, but for the most part, it's generating the same scene, but with the ability to in-paint a different character with each scene. So that seems pretty cool. If you make a video that you really like, theoretically, you can go, okay, I don't like the character that it put in there, but I like everything else about this video, and just change the character. So that'll be pretty cool to see when we finally get our hands on Sora, whenever that may be. Who knows? sound. This week, the tool Udio, which everybody's been raving about with how realistic the music that comes out of it sounds, just recently rolled out a new update as well. They actually have a feature now called Audio Inpainting, where you can select just a little piece of the song and tell it to change just that chunk. So if you like most of the song, but maybe the lyrics in one part came out a little funky, you can select just that portion of the song and have it fix just that chunk. Now, Udio has also run into a little bit of hot water recently with a lot of people pointing out that you can prompt Udio in a way that almost makes carbon copies of existing songs, sort of hinting to the idea that Udio was trained on a lot of copyrighted songs that they didn't have the permission to train on. I'm hoping they get that stuff sorted out because it's not great that I can go and make a song that sounds nearly identical to an existing artist's work. I do think they'll iron out the bugs and fix some guardrails so that people won't be able to do that. But from a technology standpoint, I'm still pretty blown away by what this is capable of, especially now that it has these new in-paint features. 11 Labs, who pretty much does everything else with audio, also appears to be getting into the AI music generation game. With 11 Labs, we can already make realistic voice clones, realistic audio translations, sound effects, all sorts of cool stuff with audio. And this week they tweeted, here's an early preview of 11 Labs music. All of the songs in this thread were generated with a single text prompt, no edits. And there's a whole bunch of examples, but let's go ahead and just take a super quick listen to the one that they put at the top here.
We were having fun, programming young, dreaming that one day we'd make it work.
Sounds just like Tom Petty, but still very impressive what they can do with some of these tools. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and
now that's crazy right there. So this is what I keep saying, yo. Goddamn.
I mean, I guess it's all relative. Several years ago, if some of this AI news came out, it would have been
yo. Commercial jingles and all that, yo. It's a wrap, son. It's a wrap. The commercial itself. You don't need somebody who went to film school and got a degree in photography and digital editing and graphic design. Nah, nigga, it's AI. So we got AI to make all the imagery for this new Coca-Cola commercial. All right, yeah, but it needs sound to it, some music or something. Don't worry about that. I can do that with AI too. Yeah, nah, but I wanted like a rock song with like lyrics and stuff. Nah, yeah, nah. The AI can. You want lyrics? What's the lyrics? Just write it. What do you want it to say? I wanted to say something like, Coke is great. Coke is good. It's the most refreshing beverage ever. Yeah, put that in there. It'll come up with it. Don't we need like somebody to sing it and a drummer and a good? No. AI gonna do all that for you. Check it out, bro. So many in the creative world, this shit is gonna disrupt everything. Once again, man, when they said this is gonna change everything, people just keep underestimating like how much this is gonna influence everything, more so than the internet. This is gonna have double the impact that the internet did. And now, in 30 years, it's almost impossible. I need robots to do all the painting for me. It's coming, bro. Watch what you wish for. In 30 years, in just 30 years, a generation, and a little smidget, a little more than a generation, we cannot, well, I can't. And I like nature and, old tech and old world traditions, but I can't imagine not having the internet right now. I can't imagine not being able to sit here and chat with you like this, bro. Like, if I couldn't do this, I'd be like, damn, what is there to do? But there is stuff that I can just still sit here and paint in silence or listen to my music or whatever. But having this extra layer of connectiveness to like-minded people or even people you disagree with is a benefit. It's a plus. It's an advantage. I think it makes life more fun. And but where this shit is headed, yo, it's gonna be a wild, 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 wild ride, bro. And now since it's here, so I was born before the internet. Before the internet was public. You know what I'm saying? Because there was like closed military internet, like communication over a distance via computers in the 80s and prior to the 80s. So there was some type of internal networking communication. It probably wasn't like HTTP colon double backslash www or whatever, you know, hyperlinks and all that shit. But there was something there. But I was definitely born before our current internet was given to the public. Before our current internet went online publicly. Which is cool. It makes me feel old. It makes me feel real old now. But so now, since the mid 90s, we have people who were born in a world where they would not in a world where there's always internet. You know what I'm saying? That's how they know the world. They were born into a world with the internet. And that was just, like I say, fucking 25 years ago. And now this new generation is being born into a world with AI, and they will not know a world without AI. These motherfuckers are going to be different. I'm telling you now. The same way these internet kids are different, these AI kids are going to be crazy different, bro. The way they think, the way they see the world, the way they interact with the world is just going to be different from anything we've ever imagined. Just like me sitting in a office typing on a computer, sending emails, and doing a Zoom chat is way different from anything my grandmother or my great grandmother could have ever imagined. My great grandmother passed away before like phone apps became popular. There were cell phones, but we were still like on the flip phones back then. Nobody had no smartphone with FaceTime and the Apple Store. That shit wasn't even around. So like now, like my great grandmother probably couldn't imagine like live streaming and video chat and like that shit would be crazy. The public phone booth, bro. You remember those? Those are all extinct. You don't see those anymore at all, bro. The phone booths. Oh yeah. Hold on. You gonna make me do something real quick. I be thinking about shit different too, man. So this is a series that I started. This is only the first piece to it. I don't know when I'm gonna get back to it, but this piece is called Old Tech, New Tech. You got the old payphone, but the cell phone. And this is even an older cell phone now. But yeah, you don't even see payphones no more. Probably. Or he probably calling somebody to ask how to get the fucking cell phone to work. Oh yeah. 1-800 call ATT. 1-800 call collect. Now there is no such thing as collect calls anymore. You don't have to make a collect call or a long distance call. You remember that long distance calling? Because the phone company would charge you extra money per call to talk to someone else in a different state. So when we were in South Carolina and wanted to talk to my aunt in Washington State, the call cost more because you had to call long distance. And so you got to try to get everybody on the call in just a few minutes. Everybody, get Gene on the phone. Hurry up. Go say hey. You call long distance. Hey, don't phone calls 2 or 3 minutes. Hurry up, get out the fucking phone, man. Can't afford this shit. And then a collect call is when the person on the other end would accept the payment for the call. So you at a payphone, but you ain't got no money. You just use the collect call service and hope that the other person who you're trying to call will pick up and be like, all right, yeah, I'll take the charges. And that should be X amount of cent per minute, 50 cents a minute or some crazy ass shit. And then you get your normal phone bill, and you got an extra charge for like $3, an extra $3 charge for one call. And it's weird too, like I can't remember when that shit stopped. We're a phone booth where you can call a friend and relieve yourself at that same time. Exactly, bro. Yo. At first, you had to know which phone booths to go to because half of them motherfuckers ain't work. The motherfuckers is just coin eaters. Motherfuckers just eat your damn quarter. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, these kids will never know that. And then if you try to explain it to them, they be like, but why? Why would you just have a public phone? Because there was no internet. Nobody had cell phones. There was only landlines. If you were not at home, nobody could contact you. You couldn't contact nobody. So the cities put up phones around, and you can pay to use it, a pay phone. Uh, and it was pay by the minute. Some pay phones you could put a dime in and get like a quick phone call, or you could get a quarter. I forgot exactly how much time you got for each one, but I think a dime. I can remember a dime being the lowest amount. Like you couldn't call somebody with 5 cents. I don't think. I knew for a fact, like, you can call somebody with a dime, and then after a while, you can only use a quarter. You had all payphones went up to a quarter. And then the cell phone came in, and then slowly but surely, like, not even slowly, it was kind of a rapid thing, because it just seems like they were there, and then like a year or two, they weren't there, and then people ain't really notice it because cell phones are so fun and so convenient that when the payphones started disappearing, people just looked around and was like, "Yo, there's no payphones." Like, yeah, took them shits out years ago. Really? I never noticed. No, you had your head down in your phone, in your cell phone. Every day was an adventure, bro. Every day. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no I'm about to leave out. All right, text me later. Like, nah, nigga, I'm about to leave out. All right, I see you when you get back. That was that. I'll see you when you get home. I'm gone. Ain't no contacting me all day. You can't text me, call me, FaceTime me, or nothing. Where you was at? Where I told you I was at. And ain't no, well, I checked your location and I seen you post something on Insta. Nah, it wasn't none of that shit. Nigga posting shit, pinging my location, dropping the pin, nothing. None of that shit. I'm out. Now motherfuckers chipping their dogs and their kids and their grandparents. Man, look. It's a different world we live in, bro.
Some of the biggest news in the world, but comparatively to some of the other news we're talking about, this feels like smaller news. Some of this can probably use a more dedicated video down the line, but here we go. Apple held an event this week where they showed off their new iPad model with the M4 chip. And I'm pretty sure this is the first keynote where Apple ever actually talked about AI. They sort of danced around the topic in almost every other keynote that they've done, but this M4 chip here apparently has the fastest neural engine ever, capable of 38 trillion operations per second, which is faster than the neural processing unit of any AI PC today. Further down here, it says the M4 is extremely well suited for the latest applications leveraging AI. So even Apple's iPads now that they're putting out are sort of being designed to future-proof them for AI. This week, Hugging Face also launched Le Robot, which is an open-source robotics code library. They actually made it all available on GitHub. Le Robot aims to provide models, datasets, and tools for real-world robotics in PyTorch. The goal is to lower the barrier to entry to robotics so that everyone can contribute and benefit from sharing datasets and pre-trained models. So if people are out there trying to build robots, you now have models available that are open source that you can use to sort of fast track your way into building robots. We also got a peek at Dr. Eureka this week, which is a new research paper out of the University of Pennsylvania, NVIDIA, and the University of Texas, Austin. We sort of got a sneak peek of this type of technology at NVIDIA's GTC earlier this year, but these robots were actually trained in a virtual environment and learned how to do the things that we're seeing in this video in a virtual environment or a
crazy.
digital twin.
What the
Once
fuck?
it learned and understood how to do these things in the virtual environment, the sort of code and training was then put into the real robot, and the robot was able to perform these things in the real world, even though they weren't trained to do these things in the real world. They trained it to do things like walk on a exercise ball, and this dude here is even kicking the exercise ball to try to throw the robot off, and it still manages to maintain its balance. I came across this random video on X. I actually don't know what factory this is in China, but they showed off this robotics factory, and these are obviously robots, but the first time I ever watched this video, There's a scene right here in a second where it walks past this guy. The first time I watched this video, I didn't even realize this dude was a robot here. I thought this was just somebody standing here watching the robots being made. But nope, that's actually one of the robots. To me, this is like straight out of Westworld. Like, they look really realistic. Again, I don't really know much about this video. I just kind of came across it on X, thought it was cool, and wanted to share it in this video. Some people in the comments are claiming that this is actually fake. This isn't even a real video. I have no idea, so take this one with a grain of salt. This might have been made with Sora for all I know. Also this week we got the news that machine learning aided in the discovery of the sperm whale alphabet. Using machine learning, they were able to sort of tell the difference between various noises that the whales made and find patterns and correlations between them to sort of start to map out this sperm whale alphabet. Is this leading us to a future that we could maybe even talk to whales? That could be interesting. I also mentioned at the beginning of this video that I think this is going to be considered a slow week compared to the weeks that are coming up. And this is the reason why. Between May and June, we have these events. We have Google I/O. This is Google's big annual event where they make a ton of announcements. Last year it was all about AI. This year is expected to be all about AI as well. From the day I'm releasing this video, that event happens next week. Also next week is the rumored OpenAI update event where we're expected to hear about OpenAI's new search engine project. Then the following week is Microsoft Build up in Seattle. Again, a big event that happens annually where Microsoft makes some of their biggest announcements. This year, likely to be mostly focused on AI. Then there's Computex in Taiwan, where Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is one of the keynote speakers. Possibly more announcements. Then there's Cisco Live, an event that I'm going to. Is going to be mostly focused around cybersecurity, and there's going to be some big announcements around how we can better protect ourselves against things like deepfakes and voice cloning scams and things like that. That is something that Cisco has been working really, really closely on, and many of those announcements are going to happen at that event in June in Vegas. And then also in June, we have Apple's WWDC event, the Worldwide Developer Conference. If you remember last year, that's when they announced the Apple Vision Pro. Well, this year, some of the rumors are that maybe we're going to get a new Siri powered by either OpenAI or Google Gemini. I really honestly don't know what sort of announcements to expect from WWDC, but all indications point towards it being a very AI-heavy sort of announcement day. So that's why I think this week is probably the calm before the storm, even though it feels like I just talked about a lot. It's only going to ramp up from here, and I think as we get into the summer, we're going to see some crazy announcements. I'm here for it. I'm excited. And if you want to stay in the loop and make sure that you know about all of these things and that you don't miss any of it, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I put out these AI news recaps every single Friday to loop you in on all of the news that happened throughout the week, so you can get caught up with just one video a week of everything you need to know. If you like this video specifically, give it a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Also, check out the Next Wave podcast. We recently had Logan Kilpatrick on. He was the head of developer relations over at OpenAI. He recently left OpenAI and is now working over at Google doing very similar work. And we had an interview with him where we asked, well, why did you leave OpenAI? And he broke it all down for us. We also talked about open source versus closed source and really went deep down the rabbit hole with Logan. So those of you that want to explore a little bit deeper into the AI space than what I provide on this channel, definitely check out the Next Wave podcast. That's where we really, really deep dive. And as always, check out futuretools.io, where I curate all the coolest AI tools. I keep you up to date on the latest AI news. Believe it or not, the AI news that I share in this video isn't all of it. I have to cut some of it out just to make sure these videos aren't 2 hours long. But all of the interesting news that I come across gets shared on this news page. So anything I missed in this video should be here. I also record these videos on Thursdays, so anything that comes out on Friday a lot of times gets missed in these videos. And of course, there's a free newsletter where I'll keep you looped in with just the most important news of the week, just the coolest tools I come across. It's totally free. You get access to the AI income database when you sign up, which is a cool database of ways to make money with AI. Again, totally free. Find it over at futuretools.io, and I'll make sure you get hooked up. And that is way too many things that I just asked you to do, so I apologize, but thank you so much for watching this video and nerding out about AI with me. That's what's important, is that you like to come and hang out and nerd out about the latest and greatest in AI. It's so much fun, and thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Matt Wolf, he's the man, yo. I like his content. Yo, I even.
It's time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move forward. So I came across this today. Nolan Arbaugh at Modded Squad. So he is that Neuralink patient, had the Neuralink installed in his brain.
What?
He's paralyzed from the neck down. And today he's doing this thing, which I think is quite fascinating. He's controlling a computer using his mind. The person you see on screen there on the left is paralyzed, can't move, can't operate a computer, can't push buttons. He can talk and he can think. And that is all that is required for him to create this almost hour-long stream where he goes through how he trains his brain to better deal with the software, how he plays games, and overall how the Neuralink is treating him. I was very surprised that this didn't get that many views. So just wanted to hopefully increase the signal strength here a little bit by reposting some highlights here on my channel. But I do encourage everyone that's on Twitter, that's on X, to go and give him a follow. I'll link all the relevant resources in the comments, the live stream, his account. But I gotta say, the fact that we're able to now give people their lives back, to enable them to be able to do stuff like this, it's pretty amazing. I think this should be celebrated. Anyways, here's a portion of a stream cut down for shortness. I hope you enjoy. So this is the Link app. The Link app is how I am able to control this computer. Everything is through this. This is where I will connect and disconnect. This is where I do all of basically the daily tasks that I do with the team. This is the hub for everything. I imagine this is how, for the future, when implants are in more people, or just with me, I guess, this Link app will be put on other devices, say phones or other things. Everyone would have this app, and it would make those devices compatible with the Neuralink. So it's pretty cool. This is where I go for all sorts of things. So right here, these are like all the devices that this is connected to, that the Neuralink is connected to. This is Eve, my implant, which I named. The other two things are the chargers for my implant. So yeah, what can I do on here? This is the calibrate section. The calibration is something that I do in order to give me control of the cursor. Basically, it's the process of the Link app learning what my brain signals, like learning to map my brain signals and like keyboard control. So I would go into the calibration and see right there, it listens to me sometimes. Go into calibration, I would do that, and then I would get the control that I have right now with the cursor. That started out, basically version 1 was a lot different than where it's at now. There's been a lot of trial and error, but it's been a pretty cool learning process. At this point, I'm able to do it basically completely on my own. Before, I would be doing it in sessions with the Neuralink people, and they would have to run the whole thing, and we tried out 100 different ways of doing it, probably more, honestly, and it's going so far. This is not, I would say, the best model that I've ever had. So basically the model is whatever the cursor control is that I have when I come out. It will update throughout the process, and it'll be a lot better with more time. And so I'm able to, the longer I stay in the calibration, it'll pop up again right there, generally the better it'll become. So I can stay in there for 30 minutes, an hour, or more if I wanted to. And hopefully the cursor control would get even better. I also can do what we call like body mapping. And this sort of thing is, there's a task being done. This one is like right arm pushes. So you'll see like a right arm on screen, and I will follow the visual to map what my intention is, and they can directly see they tell me what they want me to do basically, and I'm doing it, and so they know what certain neurons are like firing and being mapped to certain parts of certain intentions, parts of my brain. So that's pretty cool. I do that a lot. I think right now we're working on some handwriting stuff, or like finger spelling, like sign language, which is pretty cool. Then I have this research tab, which is one of my favorite things to do. It is, see how this is going. 1 people, that's not bad. This is one of the games that we use as a benchmark across all
BCI. So I'll show you guys how that, like what that looks like. So this is WebGrid. It's one of my favorite games to play. They are surprised at how much I sit around and do this just on my own. It is addicting. This number over here will climb as I get more targets for every minute. This is basically, see the red when I miss. This is basically how we test if the model is very good. This number goes up basically as high as we want it to, but I think I use like a 35 by 30 is like the highest we go. Anything over than that isn't super great. The targets are pretty small. But yeah, so I will do this and I'll play it for hours at a time sometimes. This is actually how how a BCI is evaluated across all people, all types of BCIs and stuff. This is what the scientific community uses in order to measure how good given product or
A
how
BCI
good
is
those
a
sorts of
brain
things
computer
are.
interface.
So,
Or
like the people before the Neuralink, where you're playing game as well, and they had certain records in this game. I think that record was like 4 point something at that time. So I think I broke that on my first day doing this, then every day after that I broke it a couple more times. Right now I'm
so this is a living person right now telling us this shit works. And of course, it is experimental, but we can see like it has potential and it's getting better. Daily, we're testing it now and it's getting better. Elon Musk told us this shit almost 10 years ago. He was like, I'm going to do this. And I think it will definitely benefit everyone. And this is what he said. We're going to first start for people who are missing a large portion of their life by not having full control over their bodies. And so if we can help people, um, live a more full life, even if they are quadriplegic, why not use this technology? And this could be the perfect learning platform for us, um, as far as test subjects. And I understand that because most of the time, terminal people or critically ill people or people with massive deformities or disfigurements or disadvantages like this, they're always ready to like, let's try something new. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? And so I think this dude is brave as hell for testing out new technology, helping science move forward, um, breaking down the stigma and the barriers of what people may think about this technology and its implications and possibilities. So I'm not gonna get it. In my lifetime, they may be, it may come to market in my lifetime. I'm sure it's gonna stay experimental for years to come. It may make it to the market sometime soon, but just like everything else, it's phases. Like the my man Matt Wolf was talking about. Apple just announced their new iPad. But yeah, they've been making iPads for a while. They're on like the third or fourth generation or fifth generation of iPads. It's a tested product. It's tested. It's solid. They have a lot of hardware and software to build off of over the years throughout trial and error, and now we can kind of depend on this product now. That's not the thing with this Neuralink shit. It'll take a long time for it to be really, really dependable. We're talking about the second or third generation before everybody bops on like, you know what? Yeah, this is a good product and it works. Yeah. And then I can imagine like just like everything, it's gonna be extremely, extremely expensive. Uh, uh, Cars, clothes, cell phones, TVs. When everything come out, man, everything is super expensive until uh, it's in the public domain enough. There's enough demand for it. The technology to produce the products become streamlined, and then the products start becoming cheaper and available to more people. But in the beginning, once again, if you're not a part of some tests, program? Are you not some? I can imagine there's like some super uber duper rich motherfucker who probably already got something like this. If it's not Elon Musk himself, some super mad scientist genius or some shit. Yeah. Oh, I'll get one definitely. I want to get hooked up to the interweb too, nigga. Y'all ain't about to leave me behind. Y'all know everything, and I can't know everything, bitch. I need all the advantages, but I ain't gonna do it yet. I ain't gonna do it yet. And like I say, about it, that shit probably won't even be in the market in my lifetime. But hurry up, push it fast, man. Y'all get all the test subjects out the way, man. You know what I'm saying? Get all the bugs and the kinks out. Make sure that shit safe. And then let me get one. You know what I'm saying? I got the internet in my mind. Oh, hell. Everybody know everything. You can't tell me you can't prosper and achieve and do something good because you should know everything. Just like I know everything. Nigga. We don't gotta Google it. It's in our head now. All the knowledge and information. Alright, I gotta take a bathroom break. This coffee about to come out. Damn, I'm still trying to do this time lapse though. Man, this time lapse gonna be weird because it's gonna have big chunks in it where I'm not doing anything. Oh, fuck. Alright, I'm back. Oh boy. Alright, in the photograph, my man is wearing a COVID mask. But I don't want that in the painting. So I'm trying to paint out the COVID mask. Like he's not even wearing it. Alright, something like that.
Up to, I think 8 is the record, and I'm pretty sure that's the world record. Actually, I'm not pretty sure that is the world record. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I could do this all day. I want to do it right now instead of talking to you guys, but I guess I won't. I'll just show you what you do and how it's played. Yeah, and so I'll do this basically in session with the team for however long they want, whatever they can do to learn. Ooh, Nelly. I think the record at the Neuralink office is around 18, which is a ridiculous number. On average, I would say the people at Neuralink can manage about 10 BPS, which is bits per second. And I am not quite there yet. Like I said, I just got to 8. Oh, well, that was just like talking right there. That was over the previous world record. So, before Neuralink started, which is super impressive. So, yeah, this is WebGrid. Again, I could play that all day, but I will not put you guys through that. So yeah, over 10 is basically the average. I would say the people at Neuralink, they are super committed to testing themselves and trying these things out. Make it as bearable for me, but I love it. I can play it all day. I have played it just on my own for fun. I don't know, I just love the challenge. I love how there's a numerical progress to be made in all of this. It's super fun to just keep testing myself, to keep pushing. And yeah, I think 8 is not the best I can do. I think that is just where I'm at right now. Again, this model is not the best model I've ever had, and I could definitely do things that would make it better. And I'm sure if I did that, I would be able to break the record again, maybe even this coming week. I don't think where it's at is where it's going to stay. And who knows, maybe the people that come after me will break it on day 1 as well. That would be awesome. I would not mind that at all. Then we go into this gaming tab over here, which is pretty cool. This is how it's what they're working on right now and how I am going to be able to play games on different devices. So right now we were using it to play Mario Kart. When I played Mario Kart in the video that I'm sure most of y'all have seen, it was a bit different. They're trying to give me complete control of it now. That was more assisted with their help. Now they're making this whole thing for me, and I will be able to connect to games on my own and play as much as I want, which I am very grateful for because that's going to be awesome. So yeah, this is the Link app. It's pretty cool. I think it is going to keep getting better. We are continuing to learn things and continuing to improve. There are constant updates to this, and it can only get better, honestly. So yeah, let's move on a bit. Next, we'll go here first. This is basically what I can do on a daily basis as far as what I do in my off time when I'm just waiting around. Sometimes when I am waiting for the team to either get on or I'm waiting for the team to move something around or fix something for me, then I will come and play this and get on this, I guess I should say. I'll play this over here. This is the Snake game. It is a lot of fun. I will just sit here and just play around for a while. It is not easy. I'm really bad at it, actually. It's not something that I do because I'm super good. It's something I do because it gives me an idea of how good the model is. If I can do certain things, if I can make sharp turns, if I can avoid people in this game, then I know that my cursor control is actually pretty good. Right now, it's not the best I've ever seen it, but knowing that, I can go in and try to do something to make it better. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I sit here and play this kind of non-stop sometimes, just while I'm waiting. It's addicting and it's easy, and I don't mind one bit just sitting around doing this. So yeah, and I'll just kill myself and we can move on. Okay, and then I do stuff like this. I've been learning Japanese. Wanikani is one of my favorite sites to use. It is how I've been learning kanji. It's so much fun, and I really enjoy it. I haven't done it in a while. As you can see, I have 505 reviews up here, which is not usually what it should look like. I've just been doing this stuff with Neuralink, and I haven't had a chance to really get back into it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, though. I really enjoy it. I love learning languages, and Japanese is something that I've really taken an interest in the last few years. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's becoming a hub of pop culture, which is super cool. So I really enjoy it, and I hope to continue it in the future. And this has given me a lot of ability to play these games and to learn. Before I was having to do this in the most suboptimal way, I think, in the world. So, yeah, it's already changed my life as far as that goes, and it's only going to keep getting better. Here is a manga I've been reading. If any of you know what this is, like, kudos to you. I'm sure it's not that hard to figure out. If so, there's that. Also, it might say it up there. And then I've been listening to audiobooks as well. And this is what I'm on right now. I just bought it. I'm about to start. I literally just finished The Wheel of Time maybe a week ago. All, 14 books of it. I'm looking for something else. And I love me some Brandon Sanderson. He's awesome. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. Now, let's see what else. I have also been playing a lot of chess, as you guys know. This is something that I do a lot also when I'm just waiting for them to figure out what we're going to do next in the session. This is a game I'm playing actually right now with one of the Neuralink employees. He's been kicking my butt generally, so it's cool that I can come on here and play with him whenever I want. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do in this game. I think he's going to kick my butt, honestly. And someone's probably going to pull this game and tear it apart. They already have been, so I'm not sure. I know that I'm not very good. There's no need to tell me twice. Let's see, what else? Show Mixer. So right now, I don't know if you guys can tell, my cursor control is not as fast as I would want it to be. It's not as smooth as I would want it to be, so there are a couple things I can do. One is this mixer, which they've given me control of. At the beginning, I would basically have to ask them for all sorts of help. If something was wrong, I could have to wait around or just deal with it or just not use it at all. Now I have this little mixer, and what this does is gives me a bit more control over how this cursor interfaces. So the gain right here is basically speed. So I'm at 2.4 right now. If I keep going up, this cursor is just going to get faster and faster, which I am a fan of. It'll help me move across the screen a lot easier. The friction down there at the bottom it's exactly what it sounds like. It's friction. Keeps it slower, maybe keeps me over targets a bit better. And so I'll turn that down because I feel like it's slowing me down a little. There we go. This moves a bit better now. Yeah, don't know what I'm going to do here either, honestly. I think I had a plan, something like that. It was either, I think it was something like this. I'll probably come here, go there. You could almost certainly just come here, maybe go here. Maybe that'll work, or I could just go here to begin with. Let's find out. Okay, so that's that. I also do the daily devotional, and that's here. And that's it. I can do all sorts of other things. I could open up a new tab and search around. Obviously, it's the internet. We all can see that. This is also where, let's go back here, I can show you my keyboard. So my keyboard is just something that they've given me recently too. Obviously, y'all know what a keyboard is. And I just push down at the bottom of the screen, and it pops up. I had them add in this feature where it will slow down, it will make smaller whatever screen I am using, because before it was popping up and it would be over the screen, and so I needed it for something where I could use it while I was trying to type something. That's really nifty. Also, reading right now, I'm using this to reading Sherlock Holmes right now. I was reading MASH before, I think last time, and now I'm doing this. All that said and done, I think I can show you guys a little bit of a game. This is probably something that I will be doing in the future. If anyone is interested, I will hop on at some point and play some games and talk through this. I would love to be able to chat with other people while I'm doing this. I'd love to play some games with my friends while I'm doing these sorts of things, live streams. I don't know how. If any of how to stream, let me know. Because I would love to sit here and talk with people and not just have you guys listen to me nonstop. That sounds terrible to me. So these are the games I've been playing most recently, as you can see, and I love all of them. So I want to show you guys a little bit of this. Alright, show you guys my setup too, because I do this maybe a bit differently than other people. So we'll go here, something like that. Because I want you guys to not think I'm terrible. I'll go king, and continents is fine. Then set up, I'm a cheater, so I'm going to go, nope, didn't mean to do that. Let's go abundant, world age, new. So real quick, while I am feeling it, there is something, if you've watched the show and tell, they talk about cursor drift being a problem that they're trying to solve. There is a bias in the cursor sometimes. And what that means is if I just want to stay centered or I want to click something, it's going to drift in one of these directions. That was a big issue that we were having at the beginning until they developed what they call bias correction. They're still in the early stages of bias correction. They are figuring out different ways they can make it work. Basically what it is that if I feel the cursor, say, pulling to the left every time I go to stop and click something, I will just come over here and push into the side of the screen, and it will correct. The longer and harder I push into it, the more it will correct. If I overcorrect, I can just do it the other way. So that's been really cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so what I'm doing here, too, is I keep moving it around. That's just me constantly moving it on my own. I can stay still if I want to. It's probably just a nervous habit, like me trying to keep moving it. Maybe that'll change at some point. Like I said, I've never done this, so I'm very nervous about like how this is coming across, if I'm saying all the right things. I feel like I've skipped over basically 100 things at this point. I also don't have like moderators or anything. I wish I could be a bit more interactive with you guys as far as like the chat goes and everything, but maybe that'll change someday. I guess if you want to be my moderator, let me know. No, don't do that. Yeah. So there is a bias to the right now. So I'm going to keep pushing into the right side of the screen to hopefully fix it. It's a bit of an inconvenience right now. We're working to fix this, but there is a mode switcher over here, which lets me switch this cursor from a left click, right click, drag, and then a hover, and then the mixer was that thing I showed you guys earlier. It just pops that up. I would show you guys all of it, but one of them is actually broken right now, and if I hop into it, then it might break everything. So I'd rather not. I don't know where I should go. Oh, don't want to do that. But here. I'll do this. Probably a scout. Maybe a slinger. Builder. Maybe another scout. And we'll see about that. That'll change as I go, I'm sure. I was saying it's an inconvenience, by the way, because when I want to bias correct to the right, that little menu, that's actually how I get into that too, is by pushing into the right. They knew that was going to be a problem, but I told them not to worry about it immediately because I could work around it, so it's not that huge of a deal. This is also, like I said, the first of hopefully many streams that I do, and as I get better at this, as I get better equipment, as I get this down, I really have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I will be able to answer a lot more questions. I'm planning on doing an AMA at some point and answering a bunch of questions then too. I already had basically my first big interview, and that is by Ashley Vance, and he will be releasing that on the 16th, I believe. Look forward to that. And then outside of that, I think, after that interview comes out, I'll start doing a lot more appearances and doing a lot more interviews and stuff. So y'all will definitely get to learn a lot more about this whole process, about where I'm from, how I got into this, stuff about my accident, just all sorts of stuff. Any questions y'all have, hopefully I'll be able to answer at that point, or just along the way in general. So I'm more than willing to talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to get a lot of crap for how terribly I play this game. I already know. Don't know if y'all saw, I dropped a line to Joe Rogan on my ex. I'm hoping that happens. That would be freaking sick. I love listening to that guy. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but if you don't, shame on you. He's awesome. I hope that happens at some point. This game, in case you don't know, is a civilization building game. So basically, you start out like you saw with one little settler, is what that guy with the flag was, and they build cities, and I started out with one warrior. You start out in the ancient era, which is where we are right now, and you go all the way to the modern era, the space age, and you just keep growing your civilization, and you get bigger and bigger. You build more cities, you get more units, your units advance. So right now I have a little barbarian warrior guy, but pretty soon I'll hit the Renaissance era and stuff, and I'll get musket men, and then you keep going, you get like infantrymen, you get planes, all sorts of stuff. And there are a few different ways you can win the game. So this is the ancient era. There are different victory conditions. So you have the science victory, which is for sure what I'm going to go for, because this is what Korea is known for in this game. There's a culture victory. So sorry. Science victory is this little science tech tree. Basically, you start going through all these different techs, and you just keep learning stuff, and you get different things every time you learn them. You're able to, like with currency, I can build a market. Construction, I can build a lumber mill. And then you keep going all the way up here. Look, military engine, I can discover gunpowder. Education, there's like universities. You keep going all the way over here. And eventually, see if I can get there. Ooh, Nelly. Dear Lord. Yeah, these ones are, I haven't hit them yet in a game. But up here, look at this, nuclear fusion, composites, and stealth technology. So all sorts of cool stuff. In order to win this, you have to basically start or colonize another planet in some way. You have to just send a bunch of like satellites up and like Alpha Centauri and stuff like that. So that's how you win the science. Culture is basically make everyone generate a lot of culture. It's up here. And you do that in a variety of ways, all sorts of stuff. You like get great artists and people to visit your civilization, and you do that in a few different ways. And then outside of that, you have the domination, which is I think you have to take over for other civs. Religious victory, you have to convert other civilizations to a certain religion that you are. And then diplomatic victory is just make everyone love you a lot. I'm terrible at that. Okay, that's basically it. You can... There's a whole lot to do in this game. It's a very big game. There are a lot of ways you can do really well, and a lot of ways you can mess everything up. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I could keep showing you guys this if you want to. I can also show you some other games and just give you an idea of what it's like to play these games with the Neuralink, which is just, as you can see, it's already super freaking impressive. It's wild. Oh yeah. So the reason why, sorry, I just saw in the chat a bit how long it takes to win this game. The reason why, like in some of my other interviews, I've talked about playing it for 6 hours straight. It's because it could take maybe 4 or 5 hours to win, or it could take something like 10 plus hours to win. So it's pretty long. Yeah, so there's that. I could keep doing that, but I'll show you guys something else too. Ooh, Nelly. I love Slay the Spire too. I'm so happy I can play this game. It was one of the few games that I was actually able to play before the Neuralink. I would play on my iPad with a mouth stick. I don't know if you guys know what a mouth stick is. It's basically just a stick that you hold in your mouth. That's about it. I will abandon this and start from the beginning so you guys can see that bias is obnoxious. Alright. If any of you know what this game is, it's basically a deck builder card game. Show Mixer. Let me turn this down a little now. So this game is a deck builder. You basically climb. It's a dungeon crawler, a level climber. So you climb floors in this game, and every floor that you climb, you get to add stuff to your deck, add cards to your deck, you get to do different things, and you just build a really good deck, and you try to make it through all of the levels. And that's about it. It's pretty simple. Alright, here we go. I am currently trying to get all the unlocks in this game. There's one more unlock here. I had to restart because I was playing it on my iPad first, and now I'm playing it on this, so I had to restart everything. I don't like any of these. What does this do? Oh, great. That's terrible. Okay, where do I want to go? Just go this way. It doesn't really matter. So this is it. Cards. You play cards, and you do things. That's it. This deals 6 damage. You use it to attack the enemy, and not much else to it. Oh boy. This is how many, or like how much energy you have, so each of these costs an energy. As you see, it's 1, and that means that I can play up to 4 cards if all of them cost 1. I'm going to keep bias correcting because this bias is still in here. And I have to keep just hopping in and hopping out of this because I can't actually push into the wall. Because once I push into the wall, it sends me into this little menu. Again, they're working on it. It will probably not be like this in a couple more days. You guys just happen to fall into a time where we had it. Because we're giving me a lot more control over the cursor. All of these little menus are new. This click, the right click, the drag, the hover, the mix, that's all like the last couple of days stuff. Because we are just learning at lightning pace. We just learn so much every day, and they're constantly trying new things to see what works. I am basically just here as a tester. I'm trying to show them what is good and what isn't good, what works and what doesn't work, and try to give as much detailed feedback as I can and try to help this for all of the people that come after me. Hopefully what I'm doing here helps. So yeah, that's it. Every time you win a battle like that, you get to add a card to your deck, and you keep moving on, you keep climbing. So that's that. Keep going. But I'd like to show you guys a couple other things before I get off. And then, if you guys know what Polytopia is, I just recently started playing this game. Again, I used to play it on my iPad, but I had to restart everything once I started doing this. Just fine with me. It's a lot of fun to start over. I'm also terrible at this game. This one is a bit harder for me because, as you'll see, I don't really know how to navigate around the screen with just a left click for now. I also don't remember what the heck I was supposed to do here. So let's just do that, and I'll end my turn. Oh, Nelly. So yeah, that's that. Train a little guy. Basically, this game, you just build up a little like civilization, train fighters, and you unlock those. The more you do this little tech tree, and then you expand, and I chose the little game play where you just dominate. Once all the other people are gone, then you win. And that's about it. It's not that complicated. I'm terrible at it, though. Yeah. Just want to show you guys like how awesome this thing is, how capable I am of playing these games now. Just a couple months into this. It's impressive that we're already this far into this game, into this study. There's so much potential for this. It's going to be amazing. I have seen a bit behind the scenes of where I know that they're going, and I'm just so ecstatic, so excited to watch them change people's lives, honestly. So yeah, super simple game, much smaller than Civ, but a lot of fun nonetheless. Okay, that's about it. Let's go back now. Just wanted to show you guys like a few different things that I'm able to do. That's about it. Also RuneScape. I think I'm going to save that for another day. I believe you guys wanted more, sort of thing. Actually, I just haven't tried it out completely yet, and I don't want to show you guys something that doesn't really work 100%, so I'll do that. I've also played basically all of these games. Baldur's Gate was a lot of fun. I think a lot of you guys are probably Baldur's Gate fans. I've tried out all of these. I love this game. It's a little tower defense game. I've played a lot of it, really. Yeah, so that's that. Show Mixer. I think that's maybe a good place to stop. There's a lot more to be done with this. There's so much that this can grow. There's so much that I'm looking forward to and being part of this study. I'm also looking forward to doing a lot more with the community, with interviews, with talking just about where I've come from and how I got here and the implications of this technology. I've been thrust in all of this, but I'm so excited. I'm so blessed to be a part of it. I think that it's only going to grow at an exponential pace at this point. And I don't know. There's nothing bad that I can say about this whole process. I really have just been having the best time of my life. But yeah, I actually don't know how to stop all of this. I wonder how I can do that. Over here? Oh, there we go, end stream. But yeah, I will be doing this again. I'll get better, so bear with me. I know that this was just thrown together. I just needed to really do the first one. Like I said, get my feet wet, understand what I need to work on, how it's going to get better, and where I can go with this. I don't know how to do any of this, and so I'm going to learn. Like I said, I just had been talking about doing something like this for a while, and I never had. Cursor off. There we go. Hopefully y'all stick with me through this. Hopefully this continues to grow and be something fun that all of us can be a part of together. I am looking forward to playing some games more like long-term with everyone. I'd love to challenge some people in some chess at some point. I hope I get to play as many of you as possible. I am looking forward to communicating more with the community and just talking and answering all of your questions, letting y'all get to know me a bit more. And I think it's only going to get better from here on out. Not only my streaming, but also the implant Neuralink. Like, I'm just the first, and there are going to be so many more after me who are doing things that I still can't even imagine. Yeah, man, I think that's about it, guys. Wish I could say something cool to end this, but I think that's about it. And I don't know when I'll do this again. Maybe sometime this week, maybe next week. Just depends on what kind of reception this gets. I'm not looking to become like a full-time streamer or anything. If something like that is what the community wants, then I might consider it a bit more. But at this point, I'm just trying my hardest in the study, working as much as I can. And I'd like to help you guys out, bring you guys into the process as much as possible. So yeah, cursor on. I guess that's about it. And I'll talk to you guys later, if I can end the stream.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings are valid. Your trauma is valid. Your hurt is your hurt. I discovered BetterHelp 2 years ago and my life changed.
The following is a conversation with Avi.
All right, so for those of you who haven't caught it yet, this was an interview with Shannon Sharpe and Amanda Seales. This interview has been causing quite a stir. At one particular moment, which I'm going to be pointing out, Shannon posed a question that ignited some controversy, prompting Amanda to respond with her own thoughts. Now, what's essential to point out here, which I will be talking about here in this video, are the things she mentions and how Shannon responded to them. What seemed like he tried to downplay it as if she was wrong by saying that she was right, and bad at the same time for trying to correct an adult as a child or student in this sense.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet. The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes. It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
While Shannon wasn't really feeling Amanda's response to his questions, some of you wouldn't believe what she said at this point in the interview. So I'm going to play it for you right now and point out some key takeaways from this portion of the interview you might have missed.
There were a lot of parent-teacher conferences with you, huh?
Yes, but not for what do you think they were about?
Your excessive talking, maybe the doodling,
Funnily enough, no. You know what the parent-teacher conferences were about?
What?
Amanda is sticking up for other kids in the class. Amanda is correcting me. Like, I had a teacher, Miss Schwenk, who who called a conference because she was talking about Aboriginal art. And she said that she stood in front of the class and said, that the Aborigines are a Stone Age people. And I was like, ma'am, there are Aboriginals alive right now. Like, they are a part of civilization. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, no, what I mean is that they've never advanced. And we're in a classroom in Orlando, Florida. So, like, if we don't check this type of stuff, it's going to just continue. So I was that student. Like, I was the kid who was always raising my hand and just wasn't easily appeased by simply just someone being an authority.
Right.
And
Now, I feel as though she was right based on the personal altercation she just explained about her correcting her teacher for providing false information to the students in her class in her high school. I was also one of those students in the 90s who spoke up for other students and myself when I heard a teacher stating false information. And I knew that I could correct them with accurate information while the class was in progress. I'll stand right up. Or I could be sitting down, I'll just make sure that I'm, using an authoritative tone to correct the teacher with the accurate information. I'll even question it, like, where are you getting this information from? So why are we being taught that when that's absolutely not true? That shouldn't even be a part of the curriculum. Yes, I was one of those type of people, and I'm sure every single student that was a part of my classes will attest to that. It is true. I mean, I'm smiling about it now, but it's true because I was one of those type of students that didn't let the BS fly. That's not going to happen. Now, some of you may say that my speaking up was interrupting the class, but I disagree. In a classroom setting, adults should not be the only ones allowed to speak freely. Students should also be able to participate by asking questions and sharing their thoughts. Okay? Especially when it's true. Additionally, it's important for us to speak up when we know that the information presented about our people's history is inaccurate, particularly when it comes from a foreigner who may not fully understand our story. Okay? We are the Aboriginal people of America. I've been teaching about this for years now, and we still exist. It is obvious that we are being mislabeled and misclassified nowadays as black people or African Americans, as if everyone came from Africa, when that has never been proven by anyone. Still today, it was always an unproven theory because we allowed foreigners to write the history books that are being used and taught in schools that we attend. This is also why I feel as though Amanda was right to correct her teacher. If we allow the teachers to get away with stating that we are Stone Age people, that will mean that we no longer exist. And blacks and African Americans have always been labeled as such, when that is absolutely not true. They are misnomers. I'm not going to get too far into that. If you want more information about that, it's all throughout my channel. Just start with my older videos to learn more. Let's continue.
And I love this because when she called my mom and said, I'd like to set a conference up because I have some complaints about Amanda. My mom said, well, that's interesting because Amanda has some complaints about you.
With that accent, we know her mom from the Caribbean
And so they
islands.
came to the meeting. It was my mom and Mr. Wright and Miss Cersei. It's all black people at Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, Florida. And this lady sat there, and actually, you and Mr. Wright had the same build. And Mr. Wright was like, all right, so, we're here to discuss Amanda disrupting the class with her talking. And she was like, no, Amanda doesn't disrupt the class with her talking. She actually helps the other students out. He's like, oh, okay. So is it about her grades? And she's like, actually, no. One of her art pieces is featured in our exhibit at the library. And he's like, so what are we here for? And she's like, well, she corrects me in front of the class. And these 3 black people are like, here we go with this racist bullshit. You know, because that's really what it is. We're in Florida in the 80s and the 90s. And
But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think she would have felt equally as offended if a white kid, because I'm assuming this teacher was white, right? Mm-hmm. If a white child would have corrected her, I think most teachers would feel some type of way if a child corrects them.
Oh, again, she is allowed to correct a teacher who is providing misinformation to her class of students. There is no rule stating that it shouldn't happen, because that is not how learning works. But I want y'all to notice how Shannon is trying to twist Amanda's narrative here by saying that he believes that no adult wants to be corrected by a child. Okay? And that's your typical beta male, tail stuck up between the legs type shit. Because that is not the point she is making. You see her face? Like, what? He is afraid of questioning any type of authority. So he's going to make it seem as if she was wrong for questioning an adult by making it seem as if any adult would feel bad for being corrected by a child, when that part doesn't matter. If it's wrong, then it's wrong. If you are a child who is old enough and knowledgeable enough to know it is wrong, then there is nothing wrong with correcting it. And you have to speak up in order for that to happen, right? If, for instance, I'm visiting a place, right, and I'm not familiar with it, and mistakenly read the GPS directions in my car, and my son is with me. My son is with me, and despite him being a child, he is old enough and knowledgeable enough to recognize if I'm following the wrong GPS directions, okay? In this scenario, if he says something to ensure that we stay on the right track to reach our destination, then there's nothing wrong with that. Here's another example. God forbid that your child was touched inappropriately by an adult. If that happened, wouldn't you want your child to speak up and tell an adult? Like you, maybe? Think about that. If you're teaching your child not to speak up when it is necessary to do so, then you are inadvertently placing a muzzle around your child's mouth that could last for a lifetime.
It's not for me to surmise. I'm just saying that my experience was this lady giving wrong information.
It seems like there's a longer buffer for the advertisements to come in, and then for the video to get back to the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to correct it. Now, this is the same lady who tried to accuse me of stealing. And when a white girl said, no, Amanda didn't steal it, I did, she was like, well, I think both of you need to go to the principal.
Right.
I'm in Orlando, Florida, which is a notoriously racist state.
Oh. Now, as she's explaining it again, look at his body language. That's not a person that's listening. That's a person that feels disgusted. That's a person that feels afraid. That's a person that's feeling concerned. Because she's the type of person that, she can respect authority, but not to the point where the authority is being disrespectful. And that's what she's trying to elaborate on right here. I'm about to go back, but his body language is giving off the, oh, you shouldn't be doing this tone. Why are you doing this? Hey, man, I'm trying to bring you back to his reality. That's what he's trying to do. So let me come back a little.
And when a white girl said, no, Amanda didn't steal it, I did, she was like, well, I think both of you need to go to the principal.
Right.
I'm in Orlando, Florida, which is a notoriously racist state, Florida, in the 90s, and I'm talking to you about a white woman who is speaking about black people, indigenous people, in a country where those same indigenous people have had all of their land taken from them by former criminals that were sent there from England. And she is calling them Stone Age people. And I, as a black girl, the only black girl in her class, am correcting her.
But my thing...
Well, I want to hear your thing. Acknowledge what she just said. Stop right there. See, listen. See, this is what I'm talking about. She just elaborated more about her, more specifically correcting a person of authority. She didn't break a rule. She also stated that black people are the indigenous people. You heard that, right? Hold on. Come back.
Woman who was speaking about black people, indigenous people, in a country where those same indigenous people have had all of their land taken from them by former criminals that were sent there from England.
She's absolutely correct. Right there is all of that is correct.
And she is calling them Stone Age people. And I, as a black girl, the only black girl in her class, am correcting her.
But my thing is,
stop. Notice how he got to twist it around. He got to control that narrative. Y'all got to understand that it be the people that look just like you and I that are set there to try to control the narrative. That's what he's getting paid to do. You're going to look at it. Some of you are going to look at it as if this is being innocently done, and it's not. It's being purposely done. She stated that black people are the indigenous people, and the land was stolen by way of people that were sent here from England who were criminals. She's absolutely correct. That's called the UK. That's the Bloody Code by way of UK. That's called the Bloody Code. They did send their criminals over here by way of transportation. In fact, that was their sentencing. Transportation. They were damning people to another landmass to do time in a totally different landmass. The people that they were sending over here first were criminals, crooks, but they were also sending slaves over here that were, sex slaves. That's what they were sending over here too. Men and women. And they were sending kidnapped children over here. That's true. Now, did they take the lands right away? No. Okay? But eventually, our land was stolen. Okay? Now, our people nowadays don't realize that this happened to our people because the same group of foreigners had our minds focused on us coming from Africa, when that is absolutely not true. We were always here. Those people came by the boatload. Again, I explained this throughout my entire channel, but I just want to show y'all how Shannon came in here because he wanted to quickly go back, okay, to attempting to control the narrative. He cut her off. She didn't even complete her sentence because he didn't want her to go any further. And he heard her tone change. Her tone changed with authority.
You're right. She possibly misspoke or she didn't know.
I guess my question to you is, why do you even feel compelled at this juncture in the interview? Why would you even feel compelled to try to...
Because I'm not defending.
Yes, you
are.
But
my thing...
You're defending... Okay, not only are you defending the white teacher, but what you're doing is trying to control the narrative. You're being defensive. You're not acknowledging what she's stating. You just said, right. But that doesn't mean you agree.
Is that what I'm trying to say?
It's not about what you're trying to say.
Most adults, when kids correct them or speak, feel some type of way. This is not unique to a black, white, or white, black. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you took it that way. But I remember when I was growing up, my grandparents and parents said, hey, kids, stay in your place. Adults are speaking. That's all. Maybe that didn't happen where you were from in Orlando, Florida. But where I grew up, when I grew up, kids did not correct adults.
The silent treatment.
So I apologize if you thought it came off as combative.
No problem.
I'm talking about, you know what? This is so funny. That silent treatment says a lot because the first person to speak up after silence lost. I like that she went silent right here in her response because Shannon just proved my point. He's a beta male. He's afraid to question authority or correct a person of authority. He basically said that he grew up not being able to speak his mind. And in turn, those type of children grow up to be deeply indoctrinated adults who would not speak up for themselves when the time is necessary to do so. Okay? Now, we know this to be true because using Shannon as an example, if we use Shannon as an example, right, we know this. Shannon allowed an old white man to publicly belittle him as a grown man on his previous talk show, or sports talk show, right? Shannon allowed it to be broadcast all over the nation. And guess what? He didn't respond. Now, some of you may feel as though that was the bigger thing for Shannon to do, but I disagree. Because you're giving him an excuse not to respond when it's necessary to do so. Okay? By correcting a person in a professional manner. That don't mean you gotta get out of character. You correct them professionally. There's nothing wrong with doing that. No matter if the person holds a title above your pay grade. Now, another thing I wanted to point out. This is a picture of Amanda Seales and her mother.
Dude, this is a horrible gaming experience. How do you live like this?
Well, I don't know, Linus. I don't have time to research upgrades for this thing.
Now, notice how she gave her mother a island accent. Her mother's from Grenada. Okay, that's close to Trinidad, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I want y'all to notice something. We call that area South America, but they don't. They call that the West Indies, and they have been for years. They don't call it South America. We call it South America. Okay? But the reason why I'm pointing that out is because even she knows. Okay? I also want to point out that Amanda has a broken relationship with her father. This is her pops. That's her mother. Okay? Apparently there's no information out right now on her father, but they're trying to state that he is indigenous to this land. Okay, and they married each other or whatever. The point is that I need y'all to see that a lot of people are using the term Black and African American to bring themselves on board with our stories. Okay, the terms African American and Black allows people to who are not indigenous to this land, allows people to cling on to those terms and state that we are the same people. Amanda Seales and her mother right now has dual citizenship. You can look this up. Her mother and her. They both have dual citizenship right now. Is that a problem? Yes. Let me explain something. The reason why that is a problem, this is Amanda and that's her mom. They look just alike. The reason why this is a problem is because anybody that has dual citizenship, listen to me closely, anybody that has dual citizenship are not being labeled Black. Nobody that has dual citizenship are being labeled Black. Now, they were saying that Amanda Seales was born in California, and then they moved to Orlando, Florida in 1989. Okay, and by the time 1995 came, I believe she was 14, if I'm not mistaken, if I got my math right, because she was born in 1981. Yeah, that makes her 14. So that's ninth grade. That's when she started that high school that she mentioned, Dr. Phillips. Now, she was stating at that area of Orlando, Florida during the 90s. I noticed that she said 80s, 90s. She wasn't there in the 80s. And in fact, that school just came about in 1987. But, I mean, she was elaborating on the stuff a little bit, but she was a little bit wrong for saying that. She misspoke right there. But she was definitely there in the 90s. Okay? 1995 to be exact, because that's when it starts from ninth grade on up. That's a high school. So she's saying that she experienced racism then. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see how. When she also explained that it was 3 Black people. Remember she said that in the interview? She said that it was 3 Black people in this meeting, along with her white teacher. The principal was Black. What are you talking about? What racism? What do you mean? Because you're saying that was Orlando, Florida was super racist. But if that was the case, a Black principal wouldn't exist. Black teachers wouldn't exist. Black staff members wouldn't exist. You being in that school wouldn't exist. Because there's another thing. At the time when she attended that school was predominantly white. They wouldn't have allowed that if it was a lot of racism going on. I'm not saying that racism didn't exist, but not to the extent that she was trying to impose. Now, I believe she was doing that in order to emphasize with Shannon, like, hey, be on my side here. But Shannon had his own agenda in trying to control that narrative. Was she wrong for spilling the beans about the indigenous people? No. But she was wrong to pretend like she was a part of that struggle. Again, she's being classified as white guaranteed right now because her and her mother are dual citizens. Her career started at either Disney or Nickelodeon, something like that, at when she was 11 or 12 years old. 1992. 12 years old. What people need to understand is that they are putting a lot of people in the forefront that look like us that could regurgitate our real history. Why? Because they studied it. She has a master's degree from Columbia University in African American Studies. I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of our people would not go have a master's degree in something that they already know about. But if you don't know about it, and you would love for a stranger to tell you all about it, you'll go study it and master in it. They said it was specifically in hip-hop, as far as her degree is concerned. So not only did she learn the culture, she learned some traditions, she learned the history. That way she could fit in. It's a lot of famous people that came from that same high school she went to. DJ Khaled went to that same high school. That comedian Wayne Brady went to that same high school. There was a lot of people. It's a lot of celebrities went to that same high school. So technically she was privileged. As far as her experiencing racism, I'm going to call her bluff. Because the area you grew up in, that was all full of, that was diverse. It was mixed.
Don't call her bluff. Don't call her bluff, bro. Noob King, what up? Appreciate it, bro. Like I said, it's trying to play a commercial right now, but it just buffers when it goes to commercial for some reason. I don't know, YouTube is just acting so weird this morning.
I went to high school.
Commercial and went back to the video. That's crazy.
I went to a high school that's very similar to the high school she went to. I went to Woodrow Wilson Senior High School in Washington, D.C. I graduated from Alice Dale Junior High School in Washington, D.C. These are schools that were uptown where a lot of people were like whites and Chinese, Hispanics. Everybody was there. People from the islands. It was diverse. And you can't sit up there and say you experienced racism when you were privileged. You were in a privileged position. Again, a lot of celebrities graduated from that high school. A lot. Not just one or two. And you were one of them. You're an alumni of that high school. And don't try to put it down to make it seem like, since you on a so-called black show, so people could relate to you. I don't like that. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like that. Because, again, when I see that you and your mom have dual citizenship, I'm not knocking you for that. You do what you got to do. But that automatically means that you're labeled white. Automatically. And on the census. You're not marking yourself down as black nowhere on those IDs. Guaranteed. When you're coming from a totally different country, you are immediately counted as white, not black. The only people that can consider themselves black on their IDs are the people that are born here for real. Like they saying that you were born in Cali, but you got dual citizenship. You were not ever labeled black. Ever. Your mother made sure of that. Your mother did a good job. She made sure that you had that white privilege. And that's what you're trying to hide. Okay? That's what you're trying to hide, to make yourself more relatable. I could read right through that. Now, and that's not fair, because there are people over here right now, and I need y'all to understand this. There are people over here, again, that look like you and I, that will portray themselves to be one thing when they're actually another. Like right now, for example, with her being an actress, I want y'all to look at all the movies that have recently came out within the past 5 to 10 years. It's very rare that they utilize actors and actresses who are indigenous to this landmass to play roles of characters who are supposed to be representing indigenous people of this landmass. They're always utilizing foreigners. Always. It won't ever fail. Again, yes, your Grenada was colonized by the French, if I'm recalling it correctly. The Grenada was colonized by the French as far as your mother's situation is concerned. But y'all made y'all way over here to America. Okay? Keep in mind, your territory doesn't call themselves America. Your territory does not call themselves South America. Your territory call themselves the West Indies. I'm not saying that we not brothers and sisters. But you got to understand that your people are indigenous to their landmass. Our people are indigenous to this landmass. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but you got to understand that your struggle is not the same as ours, and I don't want people to I want people to understand that we cannot allow other people to make pretend like they're going through the same struggle as we are when they're not, especially when they got dual citizenship, and that's on record. That's not fair to my people. And you portraying yourself, and see, you're a great actor. You've been an actor since you was 12. So, of course, you could put on a role and put on a front. This should be alarming to people. Even though, I'm talking about, notice how she was stating everything right. But if you really look at it and open up the curtain for real, she's dual citizenship. Immediately, she's not so-called black. Immediately. Again, because black and white has nothing to do with the skin complexion. For those people that don't know where I'm coming from. Black and white is a status within this government. You don't have to have pale skin to be considered white. There's no such thing as black skin. Black and white had nothing to do with skin complexion. White has this particular privilege. In fact, go back and watch my video called The Creation of Black and White People. It's on my channel right now if you want more information. Because I'm going to leave it like this. She was right on what she stated because she relates to us. Not with dual citizenship. No, she cannot. Is she indigenous? Yes. But not to North America. Okay? So call it, again, that's a lot of people latching themselves off to blackity black. And they slipping people in. Easily. And she did not grow up. That's like how the civil rights movement happened. A lot of people clinging on to a movement to make pretend like they were going through a struggle when they were not. All of them were privileged. All of them went to college and had college degrees, had money. Their family was wealthy. They weren't poor. They weren't struggling. People got to realize what it was about. It's all good. You're going to wake up. Those of you that already woke up, I got a fresh cup of coffee for you. Go ahead and sip it. Those of you that's still trying to wake up, once you wipe that coal up out your eye, leave a comment and let me know. I got more videos on the way for you. I'm Dane Calloway, and I'm just here to make you think. I'm just here to make you think.
Slow down. Yeah. Shut up, light up.
I mean, people can't fuck with my boy, Dane. No, my damn phone about to die. I need to eat some breakfast too. It's 11. It's almost lunchtime actually.
Sell to your customers anywhere with Shopify, the commerce platform designed for entrepreneurs. Online, on social, in person, and on the go. Get the tools you need to sell the way you want, powered by
make sense of that. The difference between the observed reality and the objective reality underneath it, or is objective reality a silly notion given general relativity?
I'm a huge believer in objective reality. I think that objective reality is real.
Yeah.
But I do think that people kind of are a little overly casual about the relationship between what we observe and objective reality in the following sense. Of course, in order to explain the world, our starting point and our ending point is our observations, our experimental input, the phenomena we experience and see around us in the world. But in between, there's a theory. There's a mathematical formalization of our ideas about what is going on. And if a theory fits the data and is very simple and makes sense in its own terms, then we say that the theory is right. And that means that we should attribute some reality to the entities that play an important role in that theory, at least provisionally until we come up with a better theory down the road.
I think a nice way to test the difference between objective reality and the observed reality is what happens at the edge, at the horizon of a black hole. So, technically, as you get closer to that horizon, time stands still.
Yes and no. It depends on exactly how careful we're being. So, here is a bunch of things I think are correct. If you imagine there is a black hole space-time, so like the whole solution to Einstein's equation, and you treat you and me as what we call test particles. So we don't have any gravitational fields ourselves. We just move around in the gravitational field. And that's obviously an approximation, okay? But let's imagine that. And you stand outside the black hole, and I fall in. And as I'm falling in, I'm waving to you, because I'm going into the black hole, you will see me move more and more slowly. And also the light from me is redshifted, so I kind of look embarrassed because I'm falling into a black hole. And there is a limit. There's a last moment that light will be emitted from me, from your perspective, forever, okay? Now, you don't literally see it, because I'm emitting photons more and more slowly, right? Because from your point of view. So it's not like I'm equally bright. I basically fade from view in that picture, okay? So that's one approximation. The other approximation is I do have a gravitational field of my own, and therefore, as I approach the black hole doesn't just sit there and let me pass through. It kind of moves out to eat me up, because its net energy mass is going to be mine plus its. But roughly speaking, yes, I think so. I don't like to go to the dramatic extremes, because that's where the approximations break down. But if you see something falling into a black hole, you see its clock ticking more and more slowly.
How do we know it fell in?
Commercial.
We don't. I mean, how would we? Because it's always possible that right at the last minute it had a change of heart and starts accelerating away, right? If you don't see it pass in, you don't know. And let's point out that as smart as Einstein was, he never figured out black holes. And he could have. It's kind of embarrassing. It took decades for people thinking about general relativity to understand that there are such things as black holes. Because basically, Einstein comes up with general relativity in 1915. 2 years later, Schwarzschild derives the solution to Einstein's equation that represents a black hole, the Schwarzschild solution. No one recognized it for what it was until the 50s, David Finkelstein and other people. And that's just, one of these examples of physicists not being as clever as they should have been.
Well, that's the singularity, that's the kind of the edges of theory, the limit. So it's understandable that the limit of things.
It is absolutely hard to imagine, and black holes are very different in many ways from what we're used to. On the other hand, I mean, the real reason, of course, is that between 1915 and 1955, there's a bunch of other things that are really interesting going on in physics, all particle physics and quantum field theory. So many of the greatest minds were focused on that. But still, if the universe hands you a solution to...
Alright guys, I'm out of here. Like I said, I haven't eaten anything this morning, so I definitely need to shower and get some food and then plan out the rest of my day, because I'll more than likely be taking this trip to New York this evening. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be streaming anything else today, or I tried to stream some video games last night. I may have a little bit of time to play some games early in the afternoon, but we'll see. And if I don't see you guys anymore today, I'll definitely try to be in here in the morning, and I'll catch you guys then. Hope you have a good day. Peace. Until next time.